My name is Kazuro Kirimoto. I'm a 38-year-old housewife. Today, I'd like to tell you about an incident that happened between my mom friend, her son and I. As part of a pretty standard family, I have a husband who's the same age as I am and a 13-year-old son. His name is Yuji. Our lives were mundane and peaceful, but one day, we met someone that would go on to make our lives an absolute mess. It happened when my son was in 4th grade. I was on the Parent-Teacher Association board at the time, and that's where I met Hanami Katawa. She was 3 years older than me, and she had a son named Hideyuki.
Nice to meet you. If you have anything you don't understand, please feel free to ask me questions.
Thank you so much. Miss Katawa had been on the PTA board before, so she really taught me a lot about how everything worked. She was really helpful. Apparently, her son Hideyuki and my son were good friends. They always hung out after school or during recess, but Hideyuki was quiet and mature, unlike my son, who was always energetic. This made me wonder why they were so close with each other. Miss Katawa invited me over for brunch once, and that's when I found out that they lived in a gorgeous mansion. They were filthy rich. I didn't get to meet her husband, but I was kind of taken aback at how incredible their home was. A few years later, Yuji became a middle schooler. He and Hideyuki ended up going to the same school, so I remained close with Miss Katawa. But one day, I got a call during the middle of the night.
Excuse me, are you Miss Kirimoto? Your husband is a bit wasted. We're taking a taxi back right now, but I don't think I can carry him alone. Could you meet us outside your place?
It was from my husband's co-worker. Apparently, he drank too much at a company party and got drunk to the point where he couldn't find his way home. My husband's a good man, but he really needs to evaluate his relationship with alcohol. I let out a big sigh and went outside. I waited for a taxi to arrive and then... Hey, what the hell are you doing? I noticed that a kid was spray painting graffiti on our garage door. And it wasn't just some kid too. Wait, are you Hideyuki?
Yes?
Lo and behold, it was Hideyuki that was spray painting my garage door. He didn't try to run or anything, and shamefully admitted to what he did. I'm sorry for contacting you so late at night, but this is an emergency.
Oh, I just got home, so that's alright. Is something wrong?
Well, I'm at my house with Hideyuki right now.
Huh? Why is he out so late?
I was surprised as you are when I found out, but when I went outside, I saw your son spray painting my garage door.
Wait, really? Are you sure it was actually him?
I caught him in the act, so yes, I'm sure of it.
I can't believe it!
He admits to it, and he looks like he's regretting it, so could you come and pick him up?
Alright, I'm on my way.
I contacted Miss Katawa immediately. I took a couple of pictures of the graffiti for proof, just in case. He didn't try to resist or run while I was taking the pictures, but when I contacted Miss Katawa, his face started to turn pale. He looked so scared and shocked that I started to worry if he was feeling ill. Hey, are you okay? Do you have a stomachache or something?
No, I'm alright.
Well, if he isn't feeling ill, I wonder what he's so afraid of. But that's when Miss Katawa arrived. As soon as she got here, she walked up to Hideyuki and whoa! She slapped Hideyuki right in the face, and she hit him pretty hard. She seemed absolutely livid. Even I was terrified of her, but Hideyuki just stood there and didn't show any signs of resisting. It almost seemed like he had given up vouching on himself, and that's when she faced me and said,
I'm so sorry. I'll give him a good scolding back home.
Sure. And with that, they left the house. She sounded like her usual self when she was talking to me, which made me even more terrified of her.
Hey, you're on your way back from school, right?
Yep, I am.
That's weird. Looks like you strayed away from your usual route.
Sorry, I was returning a notebook that I borrowed from a friend. I'll head straight back.
A notebook, huh?
I'm telling you the truth, you know?
Then what's your friend's name?
His name is Kinoshita. He's in my class.
Whatever. Just know that I can check your location when I want to. So try to stick to your usual route, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
This is your last warning.
My name is Hideyuki Kawata. I'm 13 years old and I'm a freshman in middle school. My family is pretty rich, but everything about my life besides that is a nightmare. As you can see, my mom has a GPS tracker on me, and she can always check where I am. But there's a reason my mom is like this. When I was in 5th grade, we found out that my dad was having an affair. She should have just gotten a divorce with him, but my mom was a highborn princess. She cared a lot about how others viewed her, and besides, she's never had a job in her life, so getting divorced wasn't an option for her. That's why she had to let my dad keep on cheating on her. That affair is still going on, and my mom is just turning a blind eye to it. Nowadays, my dad rarely ever comes home, so I was left alone with my mom in our massive mansion. We were living pretty comfortably, but because my mom was always frustrated with my dad, she started to take her anger out on me. And she was trying to make sure that I didn't end up disappointing her like my dad did.
You have to make sure you don't end up like your father. You have to study very hard and get a good paying job. That way we can be happy together. You're banned from going outside to play with your friends. You'll also end up like your father if you do that.
All of the studying didn't bother me that much, but she made me follow a very strict schedule. Sometimes I felt like I was a prisoner, but that wasn't the worst of it. As my mom grew more mentally unstable, things got much worse for me. If I didn't do very well on a test or broke my curfew,
How many times do I have to tell you? Study harder. You're turning into your father, you know.
she would scream at me and hit me for hours, on and on and on and on. My body was covered in bruises, so I couldn't participate in PE class. Apparently, my mom told the school that I have an illness, and that's why I'm not able to participate in PE. So thanks to her, I'm stuck on the bench and watching my friends have fun during PE. I really want to join them, but that'll never happen, I guess.
Hey, how you doing? We haven't hung out in a while.
Yeah, we're in different classes now, so I guess it was inevitable. And I've been, really busy studying.
Well, you are the smartest kid in our grade after all. My mom won't shut up about studying. She always tells me to try and be more like you.
I'm not someone that you should look up to, you know. Anyway, what's up?
Well, nothing really, but I was just wondering how you were doing.
Oh, well, I'm doing fine.
Say, why don't you come and hang out at my place sometime? My mom says that she wants to see you too.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll let you know when I'm free.
Alright, bet.
He's my only true friend. He reached out to me in 3rd grade, and we've been friends ever since. I don't have the time to hang out with him anymore, but he's always been nice to me. He's a really good friend, but at the same time, I'm really jealous of him. He seemed very close with his family, and they all seemed happy. I was jealous of the fact that he grew up with a kind and caring family, and that's why I did what I did. One day, my mom was out late, so I decided to take a little stroll around the neighborhood. My mom wouldn't have been able to track me because I had left my phone at home. And when I passed by Yuji's house, an uncomfortable sense of frustration and envy rushed through me. So I went to a nearby supermarket and bought a spray can. I made my way to Yuji's house and started spraying on their garage door. This was the first time I'd ever done anything like this. I know that this is something I shouldn't have done. Spray painting someone's property would be a crime if I was an adult. But then, in a stroke of terrible luck,
Hey, what the hell are you doing?
that's when Yuji's mom caught me in the act. How unlucky am I? I cursed God and my life. And so she called my mom to tell her what had just happened. I mean, it's obvious that she was going to. Why wouldn't she? I get beaten up just for breaking curfew. I wonder what she's gonna do to me now. I felt my blood in my veins start slowly fading away. And when my mom got here, she slapped me in the face as hard as she could. She would usually hold herself back when she was in front of others, but she was so mad that she didn't even care about any of that. I thought that she would wait until we got home. I should have known that this would happen. My mom wants me to be perfect. I knew that she was gonna be furious if I did something like this. She kept on mumbling to herself as she was pinching my arm as hard as she could. I was in pain, but more importantly, I was scared. I'm probably going to get the worst beating of my life when we get home.
The next day, I couldn't get Hideyuki's traumatized look out of my mind. It felt like something very bad was going to happen, and I found out that the bad premonition had come true when I got a text from my son.
Mom, something terrible's going on.
What is it?
I went to Hideyuki's house today for the first time in forever. He said his mom wasn't home and invited me over.
And?
And when we got there, Hideyuki started holding his chest and he just fainted.
What?
I called an ambulance right away. The doctors are taking care of him right now.
And where's his mother? Did you contact her?
Her phone must be out of battery or something because I can't seem to get a hold of her.
Alright, I'll head out to the hospital right away then. Where are you? I rushed over to the hospital as soon as I heard what was going on. I tried calling Hanami, but she wouldn't answer. So I arrived at the hospital and asked one of the doctors how Hideyuki was doing. Usually, they would only tell this sort of information to family members, but after contemplating for a bit, the doctor told me what was going on.
Well, this is a bit of a complicated situation. He's doing well and he's recovering, but,
The doctor chose his words carefully and explained the situation to me. Then he said something I couldn't believe. A few hours later,
I'm so sorry I'm late. I came as soon as I heard my voicemail. My phone was out of battery.
Miss Katawa finally arrived at the hospital, but immediately after she got here,
you're Miss Honami Kawata, right? You need to come with me.
a police officer and child welfare centre worker were waiting for her at the hospital. The reason Hideyuki fainted was because he was hit over and over again by a hard object. He was very close to dying. So that's why my son and I visited Hideyuki to talk about what happened. Then he started crying and told us everything that had been going on last night between him and his mother. Apparently, last night, his mother hit him over and over again with a bat. After she spent hours abusing Hideyuki, she just disappeared. He felt sick afterwards, but he didn't tell anyone what was going on, so that's why things got to this point. After hearing his story, I immediately called the police and the Child Welfare Centre. This is, without a doubt, child abuse. It might even be worse than child abuse. This is attempted murder.
What? I am his mother. This shouldn't be allowed.
Are you kidding me? No mother would do something like this to their own child. You could have killed the poor kid. This is far worse than child abuse.
Leave me alone. He's my son and I'll do with my son as I please.
Then, Yuji yelled right back at her.
Shut up, you stupid old asshole! Hideyuki is my best friend. How could you do this to him? He would probably love to yell at you right now, but he's still lying on this bed, unable to move. So I'll say this for him. You're no mother to him. Go to hell!
It seemed like Yuji was about to jump on Hanami, so I hugged him as tight as I could and held him back, but that didn't seem to satisfy Yuji.
I feel so powerless, Mom. I can't believe this is Hideyuki's mother, and I can't believe I couldn't do anything about it.
It's not your fault, Yuji. It's not your fault. You actually saved Hideyuki, you know? After hearing our conversation, Hanami collapsed onto the floor.
When did I last hug Hideyuki?
I get you were frustrated by your husband, but weren't you taking your anger out on your son? You probably felt like you were getting revenge on your husband by beating Hideyuki. You should have just gotten a divorce when you found out about the affair. If you'd have made that choice, then all of this could have been avoided. Hearing that, Hanami fell silent. She did as the police told her and boarded into the police car. And so, Hanami was arrested for child abuse. Because the abuse was so bad, she was also tried for attempted murder. She got a 5-year sentence, and she and her husband got a divorce. But because Hideyuki's father had been absent in Hideyuki's life, the court decided that he'd also been abusing his son, so both of Hideyuki's parents lost custody. He was going to be moved into an adoption centre, but one of his grandparents decided to take him in. His grandparents were from a very rural town in a faraway city, and there Hideyuki started his new life.
Yo, Hideyuki! Can I come visit you next Sunday? My mom says that she wants to see you as well.
Of course, and the doctors say that I can go outside now too.
Really? That's great news!
Thank you so much, Yuji.
Whoa, where did that come from?
If you weren't with me that day, I might have died. Well, I have my regrets. If only I could have helped you out sooner. Maybe you didn't have to go through any of this. No, it's alright. This needed to happen. Otherwise, my parents wouldn't have gotten a divorce, so everything worked out in the end.
Hideyuki?
And besides, I used to be super jealous of you.
Huh?
You and your family always seemed so close with one another, so I always cursed you guys for having something that I wanted so desperately. That's why I spray painted your garage door last night.
Wait, that was you?
Yep, I'm so sorry.
Well, isn't this a shocker? I can't believe you had it in you.
Huh?
Well, you've always held your emotions back, so I think it's great that you blew off some steam. From now on, make sure to tell your grandparents what you really think, okay?
Yeah, I promise. Thank you so much.
Alright, that's enough of that. I'm looking forward to Sunday.
Yuji showed me this conversation afterwards and I couldn't help but cry. I was wondering why such a nice kid like Hideyuki could do something like that. Of course, it's nothing to praise or reward, but I'm sure he knew what he was doing was wrong. He knew, but it was the only way he could show his emotions. Then it's not entirely his fault he did something like this. His parents are to blame for all of this. I'm gonna hug Hideyuki as hard as I can when I see him on Sunday. I'm not his actual mother, but I know what a real mother would do for him, so I'll give him some of the love that he rightfully deserves.